Hello and welcome to EveryDadDIY. I'm Gavin. Today we're going to be testing out this drill clamp. It's made by Wolfcraft. It's one of the ones where you can stick it to the side of your desk. You can now put your drill in it and use your drill for other functions. We're going to test it out today, see what it's like, do a little bit of a review on it. So stick with me and let's get started. Okay, before we go too far, we'll just take a quick look at it and see what it's like. So it feels fairly well built. It's all metal, there's no plastic or anything, it's all cast. So obviously you have your clamp here, so you obviously wind that down, pop it onto your desk and then wind it up. That clamps it to the table. You can then put your drill in here and turn it whichever direction you need it. You can also angle it down this way, or I suppose any degree of that. And then you can obviously turn your head up or down or side to side, whichever you need it to do. I've noticed there is 2 screw holes in the inside here, so you could probably permanently mount it somewhere if you wanted to. So there's not much else I can tell you. It uses these Allen head screws or bolts so you open this one and it gives you this, the side to side, and you open this one and it gives you the rotation, and then this one is obviously for clamping in your drill. And yeah, so overall feels well built, but you know what we have to do, we have to test it and make sure, so let's do that. Okay, so I've got the drill all mounted up there now. I did have to use a flathead just to prise open this little gap here so it was wide enough to get my drill through, but that's not a big deal. I tightened up that screw then as well. So I've just got a little sanding drum that I made up. So if you're interested, I basically used a hole saw to cut out 4 pieces of wood, glued and screwed them together, and just put a piece of threaded bar through the middle. Just put sandpaper on the outside then. I also make them sometimes with some of this stuff. It's actually often all bed. Same thing, just drill a hole down the middle and put a piece of threaded bar through it. So we'll just turn this on then and do some sanding, see what it's like. Okay, so I turned it on there, it was moving a small bit, so I'm just going to use a screwdriver to get an extra turn on this, just to make sure it's nice and tight. Let's try again. Okay, so I was playing around with it for a little bit there, just trying it out in different orientations. I have it loosened up there now so I can move it. So obviously I started off this way. I'll do it this way as well, or there's any amount of different combinations you can use. This way was my favourite for sanding. I was just sanding, obviously into this just to test it out, see what it was like. And it was sanding really well, really controllable. So the mount was holding quite well for that. I also used a wire wheel attachment just to clean off an old chisel. Obviously it's rusted and pitted on one side and it's nice and smooth on the other now. I also had this I put into it and just used a piece of sandpaper then just to sand it down. That worked quite well as well. So yeah, I've tested it out a fair bit and it's working reasonably well. The only thing I will say is that this thing for clamping down, just doing it finger tight is not enough. Well, it wasn't for me, so I put a screwdriver in there and gave it an extra half a turn or 3/4 of a turn, and after that it was nice and solid and it didn't move since then. It's reasonably easy to loosen up these and put it into a different position. You will have to have a lock-in trigger though, so one of those buttons where you press it down and lock it. It would be nice to have a variable speed drill. This one is just constant. You know, you'd be able to get much more controlled sanding or cleaning or whatever. You can buy lots of attachments then for your drill, ones that emulate Dremels and all kinds of things. But I suppose we're concentrating on this at the moment, and for what I've used it for today, it's working really well. It's really solid, really versatile, and makes a lot more use of your drill. So yeah, I'm very impressed with it, to be honest. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the video. As I say, it's a reasonable bit of kit, works really well. Definitely makes your drill a lot more versatile, lets you do more things with it. I have done similar things before with the drill in my vise, but it's a little bit sketchy and you don't get the same range of motion that you do with something like this. So if you're in the market for something like that, I definitely recommend picking it up. As I say, I'll have a link down below. But yeah, other than that, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. See you in the next one.